before the world screams at you with noise, negativity, and distraction. There is one voice that decides your destiny. That voice is yours, and what you tell yourself in the first minutes of your morning will program the entire direction of your day, your habits, your wealth, and your future. Most people wake up and reach for their phone. They start their day feeding on stress, comparison, and problems that don't even belong to them. And then they wonder why their life feels chaotic, why opportunities slip away, and why success always seems out of reach. But winners, those who build empires, those who create legacies, they begin their mornings differently. They command their mind before the world commands it. They plant powerful truths into their subconscious and repeat them until their body, their thoughts, and their actions have no choice but to obey today. I'll share with you 14 powerful things you must tell yourself every single morning. These are not cliches. These are mental commands that rewire your subconscious, fuel your discipline, and transform you into the unstoppable force you were born to be. So don't just listen, repeat them, own them, and make them your new identity. Because once you start your morning with these truths, nothing in this world can stop the fire inside you. Every single morning, before the world interrupts you with noise, you are standing at the doorway of your future. The very first thoughts that run through your mind are not harmless whispers. They are commands that program your subconscious and broadcast to the universe what you are ready or not ready to receive. This is why so many people live in cycles of frustration, financial struggle, and emotional chaos. It is not because they lack talent. It is not because they were born unlucky. It is because, at the beginning of each day, they unknowingly plant seeds of limitation in their own minds. Think about it. The moment you wake up, your mind is wide open. It is unguarded. It is most impressionable. Whatever you allow to take root in that fragile window of time becomes the foundation of your day. If the first thing you do is reach for your phone, scrolling through headlines of fear, envy, or gossip, you have already surrendered your power. You have handed your mental blueprint to someone else's agenda. But when you begin your morning with intention, with powerful affirmations, with focused self-talk, with declarations of strength, you begin to shape your reality before the world can shape it for you. This is not about magic. This is about mindset mastery. Neuroscientists confirm what Napoleon Hill declared nearly a century ago: the subconscious mind does not argue, it obeys. It takes whatever you repeat with intensity and carves it into your identity. If you start your day telling yourself, "I'm tired, I'm broke, I can't do this," your mind accepts it as truth and orchestrates your actions to match. But if you say, "I am focused, I am disciplined, I am building wealth, I am aligned with abundance," then every part of your being begins moving toward those outcomes. Your self-belief is your currency. Without it, even the greatest opportunities slip through your fingers. With it, even the smallest resources can multiply into wealth. And that belief begins not in the marketplace, not in your career, not in the applause of others. It begins in the silent conversation you hold with yourself every morning. That is why the greatest achievers guard their mornings like sacred ground. They know that if they win the first battle of the day, the battle over their thoughts, they will carry momentum into everything else. Picture your mind like a mirror. Each morning, that mirror reflects not who you are, but who you believe yourself to be. If you stand before it with doubt, the mirror will magnify your fear. If you stand before it with conviction, how the mirror will project your power, and the universe responds accordingly. You attract not what you want, But what you radiate, that is the law of attraction sharpened into the law of action. You become what you repeatedly declare. Let me give you a practical example. Two people wake up with the same challenges, bills due, uncertain opportunities, stress waiting at work. One says, "This day is going to be hard. I'll just survive it." The other says, "This day is mine. I will rise, I will focus, I will dominate." Guess who steps into the day with energy, clarity, and solutions? Guess who finds opportunities others miss, not because life favored them, but because their mindset programmed them for victory? So here is your first command. Do not let the morning mirror lie to you. Stand in front of it and speak truth, not weakness. Tell yourself, "I am disciplined. I am wealth in motion. I am building success through focus and action." Repeat it until it feels real, because the mind does not resist repetition. It becomes it. This practice may seem small, but small disciplines compound into unstoppable momentum. Every empire was built one brick at a time, and your empire of success will be built one thought at a time, especially the ones you choose to repeat before the world touches you. If you want to know who truly controls your life, don't look at your boss, the government, or the economy. Look at the voice in your head. That voice, the one that whispers when you wake up, the one that comments on your efforts, the one that either cheers you forward or drags you down, is the real commander of your destiny. The truth is, most people are not defeated by circumstances. They are defeated by their own unchecked inner dialogue. Your inner voice is either your greatest ally or your most ruthless enemy. And the difference lies in how you train it. Imagine a soldier stepping into battle with no orders, no strategy, and no discipline. Chaos would follow. That is exactly how most people live. They let their thoughts wander aimlessly, reacting to every emotion, every doubt, every fear. But those who rise, those who build wealth, impact, and legacies, they do not let the inner voice run wild. They take control, they issue commands, they reprogram it with precision. Napoleon Hill called this auto-suggestion, the deliberate repetition of empowering thoughts until they seep into the subconscious and become self-fulfilling. The subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between truth and lies. It simply accepts repetition as reality. If you constantly tell yourself, "I can't, I'm not ready, I'm unlucky," your subconscious nods in agreement and orchestrates failure. But if you command it daily with statements like, "I am disciplined, I attract abundance, I execute with focus, I will finish what I start," then your subconscious organizes your behavior, energy, and awareness to make those words true. This is not hype. It is cause and effect. Your beliefs dictate your focus. Your focus dictates your actions. Your action dictates your results. And the chain begins with the words you allow your inner voice to repeat. That is why self-command is the most valuable skill you can develop. Think about successful athletes. Before they ever touch the field, they rehearse victory in their minds. They tell themselves, "I'm prepared. I've trained for this. He will deliver." The repetition is not just psychological, it's biological. The brain wires itself to align with those commands. Now think about your own life. How many times have you told yourself a negative story? "I'm too old. I'm too young. It's too late. It's too risky." Those words are not harmless. They are programming. Every repetition strengthens a pathway in your brain, just like lifting a weight builds muscle. The question is, are you building strength or weakness? Here's the reality. Your inner voice doesn't shut off. It speaks all day. And if you're not intentional, it will be hijacked by fear, doubt, and distraction. That is why you must seize command every morning before the world floods you with noise. The morning is your training ground. You are the general, and your words are the orders your subconscious will follow. So, what does training your inner voice look like in practice? It means eliminating vague language. Stop saying, "I'll try." That phrase gives your mind permission to fail. Replace it with "I will." It means rejecting self-pity. Stop saying, "Why me?" Replace it with, "This challenge is my opportunity." It means silencing hesitation. Don't say, "I don't feel like it." Say, "I act regardless of how I feel." This is self-discipline at the level of language. And when you master language, you master identity, because what you repeat, you eventually believe, and what you believe, you eventually become. Self-command is not about ignoring reality. It's about creating a stronger reality. It's not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about declaring that you are bigger than the problems. When you train your voice to say, "I rise," I conquer even in the middle of chaos, you transform stress into fuel. The wealth you seek, the focus you crave, the power you admire in others, it is already waiting inside you. The switch is your self-command. Train your inner voice. Like a warrior sharpens his weapon daily, deliberately, relentlessly. Do not let it wander. Do not let it negotiate with weakness. Teach it to obey your vision, your discipline, your destiny, because the one who commands his inner voice commands his life. Every dreamer has ideas. Every hopeful person has intentions. But only the disciplined turn those ideas into wealth, freedom, and legacy. The gap between wishing and winning is not talent. It is not luck. It is action. Here's the harsh truth. Feelings are unreliable. If you wait until you feel like it to act, you will wait for the rest of your life. Motivation is a spark. It appears and disappears. Discipline is the fire. It stays. Even in the storm, the people who build empires are not those who acted only when it was convenient. They acted especially when it wasn't. Think of your goals like seeds. You can water them only when you feel inspired, or you can water them daily no matter what. Which approach creates a harvest? Action, repeated with discipline, compounds over time. Even small steps, done consistently, create momentum so powerful that obstacles collapse under it. Most people confuse productivity with busyness. They run in circles, reacting to distractions, chasing approval, making plans that never see execution. But discipline doesn't care about noise. Discipline says, "What moves me closer to my vision today? Do it now." And then it repeats that process tomorrow and the next day until progress becomes inevitable. Napoleon Hill taught that action is the real test of belief. You can declare affirmations. You can write down goals. You can visualize success. But until your feet move, until your hands build, until your schedule reflects your vision, nothing changes. Action is the proof that separates the dreamers from the doers. Let's take a simple example. Two people want to get fit. Both say, "I want to be healthy." The first one buys books, watches videos, even writes affirmations. But when it's time to work out, they say, "Not today. I'm tired." The second one, also tired, goes to the gym anyway. After 6 months, one still has intentions. The other has results. Why not because of better circumstances, but because of disciplined action. This applies to wealth, career, relationships, every area of life. You don't attract abundance by sitting still. You attract it by acting in alignment with your affirmations, by making calls, sending proposals, building habits, showing up even when no one is watching. The disciplined person has an advantage most overlook. They don't waste energy deciding every day. They already decided. The choice was made once, and action is now automatic. That is freedom. Freedom from indecision, from procrastination, from emotional ups and downs. So ask yourself, are you living by emotions or by principles? Emotions say, do it later. Principles say, do it now. Emotions say, skip today. Principles say, stay consistent. The person who chooses principle over emotion wins, not because life is easier, but because they refuse to let feelings dictate their future. Here is the affirmation. Discipline is my language. Action is my proof. Every time you act despite resistance, you strengthen the muscle of self-mastery. Every time you delay, you weaken it. That muscle decides whether you live in mediocrity or in mastery. Remember, you don't need to take massive leaps every day. You just need to show up, put in the reps, make the call, write the page, lay the brick. Small actions done daily are greater than grand intentions left undone, because in the end, wealth doesn't flow to the most talented. Success doesn't follow the most inspired. Victory belongs to those who act with discipline, those who move forward no matter how they feel. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is proof that you are standing at the edge of growth. It is the body's way of saying, here leads transformation. Yet most people misunderstand fear. They treat it as a stop sign instead of a signal. They retreat when they should advance. They freeze when they should fight. And because of that, their dreams rot in the graveyard of hesitation. But listen closely. Fear has no power unless you obey it. The moment you face it, it shrinks. The moment you push through it, it dies. Fear is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to guide you toward the very areas that can unlock your greatest wealth, success, and abundance. Think of fear as resistance in the gym. Without resistance, muscles never grow. Without challenges, character never strengthens. Without fear, faith has no chance to expand. The strongest men and women in history did not eliminate fear. They trained themselves to move forward with it, to use it as fuel for action instead of an excuse for retreat. Napoleon Hill himself declared, the starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results. Just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat, fear is the natural test of that desire. If your vision is weak, fear will crush it. But if your desire is strong, fear becomes the forge that shapes it into steel. Let me give you an example. Imagine two entrepreneurs, both with a business idea. The first one says, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I lose everything? And so they never act. The second one asks the same questions but responds differently. Yes, I might fail. But what if I succeed? What if people believe in me? What if this changes my family's future forever? One sees fear as a wall, the other sees it as a door. The one who acts finds out the truth. The one who waits, waits forever. Here's the secret. Fear always shows up before your greatest opportunities. If you are not afraid, you are not aiming high enough. If you don't feel resistance, you're still playing small. Fear is simply energy, raw power, waiting to be redirected. You can waste it by feeding doubt, or you can harness it by choosing courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in spite of fear. It's waking up and saying, yes, I'm terrified, but I move anyway. That decision rewires the mind. Each time you override fear, you train your subconscious that you not fear are in command, the wealthy, the disciplined, the resilient. They all share this trait. They turn fear into a compass. When something scares them, they lean in, knowing that fear highlights the very place where growth is hiding. Fear says, don't go there. Courage responds, that's exactly where I must go. So here is your morning affirmation. Fear is fuel. I do not run from it. I convert it into focus, into action, into unstoppable momentum. Start to see fear not as an obstacle, but as an invitation. When fear shows up, it is simply asking, how much do you really want this? Your answer is not in your words, it's in your action. Every time you act in the face of fear, you build resilience. You prove to yourself that the voice of doubt is weaker than the voice of discipline. And the more you practice this, the more fear becomes not a signal of danger, but a signal of direction. Remember this truth. Fear will always exist, but so will courage. And the one you feed is the one that grows. Success is not a mystery. It is a system, and the first law of that system is clarity. Without clarity, your energy is scattered, your focus is divided, and your actions are wasted. With clarity, even ordinary effort becomes extraordinary, because every step is aligned, every decision has direction, and every habit compounds toward a single outcome. Most people do not fail because they lack intelligence or opportunity. They fail because they drift. They wake up each morning without a plan, without a target, and without discipline. They let the world decide their focus emails, notifications, gossip, distractions. By the end of the day, they are exhausted but empty, busy but unproductive. Why? Because they poured energy into everything except what truly mattered. Clarity is the antidote. It is the ability to say, this is who I am. This is where I am going. This is what I must do today to get there. Once you know that, everything else becomes noise. Napoleon Hill wrote extensively about the importance of a definite chief aim, a clear, specific, have burning purpose that dominates your thoughts and guides your actions. Clarity is not just knowing what you want, it is removing what you don't. When your vision is blurred, distractions multiply. When your vision is sharp, distractions lose their power. Think of it this way. A magnifying glass can take ordinary sunlight and, when held steady, ignite fire. But without focus, the same sunlight warms nothing. Your life works the same way. A clear mind held steady on a clear aim creates power. A scattered mind creates frustration. Here's a practical truth. Clarity does not appear by accident. It is designed every evening before you go to bed. Write down the 3 most important actions for tomorrow, the ones that move you closer to your vision. Not 10, not 20, just 3. This forces you to prioritize. Then, when you wake up, you already know your mission. You don't waste time deciding, you execute. This small habit is a weapon. It transforms chaos into order. It prevents you from falling into the trap of busyness, and over time, it builds momentum. Imagine doing 3 meaningful things every day for 1 year. That's over 1,000 focused victories. While others drown in distraction, you rise in discipline. Clarity also means aligning your actions with your values. If wealth is your aim, your habits must reflect it: saving, investing, creating value, expanding skills. If health is your aim, your daily structure must reflect it: movement, nutrition, recovery. If personal growth is your aim, your environment must reflect it: reading, learning, surrounding yourself with people who sharpen you. The clearer your values, the easier it becomes to say no to what dilutes them. The wealthy, the powerful, the disciplined, they do not allow confusion to lead their days. They design their days with precision. They guard their mornings, structure their hours, and eliminate distractions with ruthless intent. This is not obsession, this is strategy. Because they know that time is the most valuable currency, and clarity is how you invest it wisely. So here is your affirmation: I move with clarity. My day is not random. My actions are intentional. My focus is sharp, and my energy builds my future. Start small, but start today. Write your priorities. Refuse to drift. Choose direction over distraction. Because once you master clarity, your path accelerates. Opportunities appear, not because they weren't there before, but because your mind is finally tuned to see them. Remember, clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates action. And action creates results. And in the game of success, results are everything, every morning. The average person wakes up and instantly thinks about what's missing: bills to pay, deadlines to meet, problems to solve. They focus on lack, and by doing so, they unconsciously invite more lack into their life. This is the tragedy of a problem-focused mindset. It blinds you to opportunity, it drains your energy, and it keeps you trapped in cycles of stress and scarcity. But there is another way, a way that Napoleon Hill himself insisted on: gratitude. Gratitude is not just saying thank you. It is a deliberate shift of focus. It is the discipline of looking at what you already have and turning it into a foundation for more. Gratitude transforms problems into possibilities because it changes the lens through which you see the world. Think of two people facing the same challenge. One says, "Why me, life is unfair. I can't win." Their focus collapses inward. Their energy shrinks. The other says, "This is tough, but I'm grateful I have the chance to grow through it. I'm grateful I have the health, the time, the mind to face it." Their focus expands. Their energy multiplies. The problem becomes a stepping stone. Which one do you think succeeds? The answer is obvious. Gratitude is the seed of abundance. It rewires your brain to see opportunities where others see obstacles. When you focus on what is working, you naturally attract more of it. This is not mystical, it's psychological. Your mind filters reality based on what you focus on. If you dwell on problems, your brain hunts for more problems. If you dwell on gratitude, your brain hunts for more reasons to grow. Here's the truth: gratitude doesn't erase difficulties, but it equips you to meet them with strength instead of fear. Imagine driving through a storm. The storm doesn't vanish because you're grateful, but gratitude keeps your hands steady on the wheel. It keeps you calm, resilient, and focused on the road ahead. So how do you practice gratitude in a way that fuels growth? Start every morning by naming 3 things you're grateful for, specific things, not general cliches. Instead of saying, "I'm grateful for life," and say, "I'm grateful I woke up with energy today." Instead of, "I'm grateful for family," and say, "I'm grateful my daughter smiled at me before school." Specific gratitude turns vague positivity into powerful fuel. Next, link. Gratitude to your vision. For example, I'm grateful for my ambition because it pushes me to build wealth. I'm grateful for this challenge because it is shaping my discipline. This transforms gratitude into momentum. It connects today's blessings to tomorrow's success. Wealth builders, leaders, visionaries, they all understand this principle. They don't waste time complaining. They redirect that time into creation. Complaining shrinks possibility. Gratitude expands it. Complaining is rooted in scarcity. Gratitude is rooted in abundance. And abundance is the soil where all growth begins. Here is your affirmation. I choose gratitude over complaint. I see possibilities where others see problems. My gratitude multiplies my growth. If you want to unlock consistent progress, and start here. Be grateful not only for what you have, but for what you are becoming. Be grateful not only for victories, but for the struggles that forged you. Gratitude doesn't just change how you feel, it changes what you attract, how you act, and ultimately what you achieve. Because success is not built on fear of problems, it is built on gratitude for possibilities. And when you live with that mindset, the universe itself seems to open doors that once appeared locked. No one succeeds in isolation. Every empire, every fortune, every legacy was built not just on individual effort, but also on the influence of an environment. The voices you allow around you either build your belief or break it down. They either sharpen your vision or blur it. They either accelerate your success or anchor you in mediocrity. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle, the idea that when two or more minds come together in harmony, they create a third, invisible force power. The right company multiplies your energy, sharpens your strategy, and fuels your resilience. The wrong company poisons your spirit, drains your ambition, and keeps you chained to small thinking. Look closely at the people around you. Are they builders, people who push you forward, who remind you of your potential, who challenge you to rise higher? Or are they doubters, people who spread fear, who laugh at your vision, who pull you back into the comfort zone because they are too afraid to leave it themselves? Here's the truth. Doubt is contagious. So is belief. Spend enough time with complainers and you'll find yourself complaining. Surround yourself with achievers and you'll find yourself taking bigger risks, speaking bolder words, and building with greater discipline. Consider this. A young entrepreneur with a dream may give up if all their friends say, "It's too risky, just play it safe." But if that same entrepreneur sits at a table with others who are building, investing, and creating, suddenly risk looks normal. Growth looks normal. Wealth looks possible. The dream becomes not just believable, but expected. Your environment is either your prison or your launch pad. If you surround yourself with negative voices, your mindset will shrink, no matter how strong your willpower is. But if you immerse yourself in an atmosphere of success books, mentors, podcasts, conversations, your belief will expand, your discipline will strengthen, and your results will multiply. Here's a simple test. After spending time with someone, do you feel more energized, more focused, more determined? Or do you feel drained, doubtful, and distracted? Your emotions after interaction tell you everything about whether that person belongs in your circle. The wealthy understand this well. They invest in networks. They pay to be in rooms where the conversation is about creation, abundance, and vision, not gossip, excuses, and fear. They know that one good connection can open doors that years of struggle never could. But this principle isn't just about who you know, it's about who you allow to influence you. Sometimes you cannot choose family, co-workers, or circumstances, but you can choose your input, If you cannot yet surround yourself physically with builders, you can still surround yourself mentally through books, audio, and daily affirmations. You can train your subconscious to listen to voices of strength instead of doubt. Here is your affirmation. I surround myself with builders, not doubters. My circle reflects my vision. My environment multiplies my growth. And remember, you don't need a crowd. You don't need hundreds of supporters. You need a handful of disciplined, focused, purpose-driven allies, quality over quantity, builders over doubters. A single strong alliance can lift you further than 100 empty acquaintances. Protect your environment. Guard your circle. Eliminate the voices that dilute your fire. Because your destiny is too important to be left in the hands of doubters, words are not harmless. They are seeds. Every word you speak plants something in your mind, in your spirit, and in the world around you. And those seeds, over time, grow into beliefs, habits, and realities. If you constantly speak doubt, fear, and excuses, do not be surprised when your life mirrors those words. If you speak faith, power, and possibility, your life will begin to reflect that vision. Napoleon Hill taught that the subconscious mind does not argue, it accepts. Whatever you repeat with emotion, whether positive or negative, is absorbed as truth. This means your words are not just communication, they are commands. Each statement you make is an instruction to your subconscious, shaping the identity you will act upon. Think of the difference between saying, I can't do this, and saying, I am learning how to master this. One closes the door, the other keeps it open. One broadcasts weakness, the other builds resilience. The words may seem small, but their effects ripple through your behavior, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. Consider wealth. A person who constantly says, I'm broke, I'll never get ahead, is programming scarcity. Their subconscious will sabotage opportunities because it believes abundance is impossible. Another person says, I'm building wealth. I'm creating value. Money flows to me through discipline and service. Their subconscious begins to filter reality in alignment with that declaration. They notice opportunities. They take bolder actions, and they attract the very wealth their words have been affirming. This is why successful people guard their language with discipline. They do not waste words on gossip, negativity, or complaints. They speak with intention. They speak their vision aloud. They declare their goals as if they already exist, not because they are delusional, but because they understand that the subconscious mind obeys repetition and emotion. Here's a practical challenge. Eliminate weak language from your vocabulary. Stop saying, I'll try. Replace it with, I will. Stop saying, I hope. Replace it with, I expect. Stop saying, I can't. Replace it with, I am learning. Small shifts in words create massive shifts in identity. Even casual language matters. If you constantly joke about failure, your subconscious does not laugh, it listens. If you constantly declare stress, your subconscious believes stress is your natural state. The opposite is also true. If you declare strength, your subconscious enforces it. If you declare abundance, your subconscious hunts for it. If you declare discipline, your body follows. Here is your affirmation. My words shape my world. I speak power, focus, and abundance into my life every day. To practice this, start your mornings with declarations of success. Say them out loud. Say them with emotion. Don't just whisper them, speak as if you are commanding an army, because you are commanding the army of your subconscious mind. Say, I am disciplined. I am focused. I am creating wealth. I am unshockable. These words, repeated daily, become laws in your inner world, and your outer world will bend to match them. Remember, language is not decoration. It is construction. Every sentence you speak is either building a future of power or a future of weakness. Choose your words as carefully as a builder chooses bricks, because with enough repetition, those bricks will form the palace you live in or the prison you cannot escape. Before any great achievement exists in the physical world, it must first exist in the mind. Every building was once a sketch. Every empire was once a vision. Every fortune was once a picture in someone's imagination. That is the power of visualization, the ability to see what is not yet visible and hold it until reality has no choice but to catch up. Napoleon Hill called this autosuggestion the practice of impressing your desires onto the subconscious mind through repeated visualization and affirmation. Why is this powerful? Because the subconscious does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. To your inner mind, what you see consistently becomes real. And once your subconscious accepts an image, it begins to direct your behavior, your energy, and your focus toward making it happen. Think about athletes. The greatest champions in the world visualize themselves winning before they step onto the field. They see the shot going in. They feel the victory. They rehearse success in their minds until their body knows exactly how to perform it under pressure. Business leaders do the same. They visualize deals closing, products launching, wealth multiply. The external result always follows the internal rehearsal. The problem is that most people are already visualizing without realizing it. They visualize failure. They replay worst-case scenarios in their minds. They imagine rejection, loss, and defeat, and then life mirrors those images, not because they are cursed, but because they gave their subconscious a blueprint of fear. Visualization is not fantasy. It is a tool of focus. It is the deliberate act of choosing the images your mind will work to fulfill. If you hold the image of wealth with discipline, your subconscious begins to filter reality for opportunities that lead to wealth. If you hold the image of health, your subconscious nudges you toward habits that protect and restore your body. The clearer the image, the stronger the pull. Here's how you practice it each morning. Take 5 minutes to close your eyes and picture the life you are building. Be specific. Don't just say, I want success. See the success. See yourself stepping into the office you dreamed of. See the numbers in your bank account. See your body healthy and strong. Feel the emotions, confidence, gratitude, abundance. Make the image so real that your subconscious cannot ignore it. Pair visualization with affirmation. Say, this is who I am. This is what I am building. This is my reality. The words reinforce the picture. The picture reinforces the words. Together, they create a cycle of belief that transforms hesitation into conviction. Visualization is not waiting for the universe to deliver. It is preparing your inner world so you can recognize and seize what the universe is already offering. Opportunities appear every day, but only those who are tuned to the right image can see them. Your vision is the filter. Without it, you will miss what is right in front of you. Here is your affirmation. I see my success clearly. My vision guides my actions. What I hold in my mind, I create in my life. Remember, what you consistently see in your imagination becomes the magnet that shapes your reality. Do not waste this power on fear, doubt, or limitation. Use it deliberately. See yourself as the disciplined, wealthy, purposeful person you are becoming. See it every morning. Hold it every night. And one day, when you open your eyes, the vision will no longer be just in your mind. It will be the life you live. Every person faces storms, setbacks, rejection, failures, delays. They come for all of us. But here's the difference. Average people see challenges as stop signs. The successful see them as signals to grow. The wealthy, the disciplined, the unstoppable. They do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "How can I use this?" Resilience is not about pretending problems don't exist. It's about refusing to let those problems dictate your future. It's about training your mind to see every obstacle as fuel, every setback as a setup for a stronger comeback. This is the daily habit of resilience, using resistance to build strength instead of weakness. Think of a muscle. It only grows when it is tested under pressure. The weight tears the fibers, and through recovery, they rebuild stronger. Life works the same way. Challenges are not punishments. They are weights designed to strengthen your character, sharpen your focus, and prepare you for the greater victories ahead. Most people quit when the pressure rises. They see difficulty as a sign to stop. But achievers, those who dominate life, lean into the resistance. They understand that problems are not roadblocks, but raw material. They are the building blocks of strength. Patience and determination. Napoleon Hill reminded us, every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. The key word is seed. Seeds are small, invisible at first, but if you nurture them, they grow into something powerful. Every challenge you face carries hidden opportunity. If you stay focused long enough, you'll discover it. Resilience is built through perspective. Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "I learned." Instead of saying, "I'm stuck," say, "I'm being redirected." Instead of saying, "This broke me," say, "This is shaping me." Words shape your mindset, and mindset shapes your resilience. Consider the entrepreneur whose first 3 businesses failed. Each failure looked final. But instead of quitting, they studied what went wrong, applied the lessons, and launched again. By the 4th attempt, success arrived not by accident, but because resilience turned pain into preparation. Wealth is no different. Financial setbacks are inevitable. Lost deals, missed opportunities, unexpected expenses. The undisciplined panic and give up. The resilient adjust, learn, and keep building. And in the long run, resilience, not talent, separates those who create lasting wealth from those who collapse under pressure. So how do you make resilience a daily habit? You practice small comebacks. When you face a delay, instead of complaining, use the time to sharpen your skills. When someone doubts you, let it fuel your determination instead of your insecurity. When life says not yet, respond with, "Watch me, keep going." Here is your affirmation. I turn challenges into fuel. Every setback strengthens me. My resilience is unbreakable. Remember, life is not supposed to be easy. It is supposed to refine you. The obstacles in your way are not there to stop you. They are there to sculpt you into someone who cannot be stopped. Resilience is not a trait you are born with. It is a decision you make daily. And once it becomes your habit, nothing in this world can break you. Every morning when you wake up, you are given the most valuable gift in existence, this moment. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but today. Yet most people spend their energy trapped in the past, regretting mistakes, replaying failures, or lost in the future. worrying about what might happen, fearing outcomes that may never arrive. And in doing so, they lose the only thing they can ever control, the present moment. Napoleon Hill taught that thoughts become things, but here's the key: thoughts only have power when they are alive in the now. You cannot think your way into success tomorrow unless you act on that thought today. You cannot rewrite the past by obsessing over it, but you can shape the future by mastering your focus in the present. Staying present doesn't mean ignoring your goals. It means aligning your attention with the only space where action exists this moment. The past is memory. The future is imagination. But now is opportunity. Now is power. Now is the starting line of every miracle. Mindfulness is simply the discipline of being where you are, fully. When you eat, to be with the food, not your phone. When you work, be with the task, not your distractions. When you rest, to be with the peace, not your worries. This level of focus multiplies your energy and sharpens your productivity, because your power is no longer scattered across 1,000 regrets and fears. It is concentrated into one laser beam of intent. Think about wealth creation. You cannot earn money yesterday. You cannot deposit future income into your account today. But you can take action now. Send the email, make the call, build the skill, invest in the idea. The seeds of abundance are always planted in the soil of the present moment. If you waste today worrying about tomorrow, the soil remains empty. The same is true with relationships. You cannot heal someone by replaying arguments in your mind, and you cannot love them tomorrow. But you can listen, connect, and express gratitude. Now, those small acts of presence, repeated daily, compound into unshakable trust and intimacy. Here's the danger if you don't control your mind. The world will steal your presence. Notifications, gossip, all news. They are designed to hijack your attention and scatter your focus. That's why mindfulness must become your shield. Begin each morning by telling yourself, I live in the now. I focus my energy on what I can control today. This simple declaration trains your subconscious to stay grounded. When stress rises, pause and breathe. When your mind races ahead, pull it back with a simple question. What can I do right now to move closer to my vision? That one question pulls you out of fear and back into focus. Here's your affirmation. I am present. I own this moment. I choose focus over distraction, action over delay, and peace over worry. Because the truth is, this life is not lived in some distant future or frozen in the past. It is unfolding here, breath by breath, choice by choice. Master the present, and you master everything. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. Carry the weight of yesterday into today, or set it down and walk lighter into your future. Most people don't realize how much energy they lose by clinging to regrets, guilt, bitterness, and missed opportunities. The past becomes a heavy backpack strapped to their shoulders, slowing every step, draining every ounce of focus. Here's the truth. The past cannot be changed. It is gone, but it can still control you if you allow it to live rent-free in your mind. Napoleon Hill reminded us that your subconscious accepts what you feed it. If you replay failures, betrayals, and mistakes, your subconscious will assume that is who you still are, and it will act accordingly, sabotaging your confidence, weakening your decisions, and limiting your opportunities. But when you release the past, you make space for something greater. You allow your subconscious to accept new commands, new images, new possibilities. You give yourself permission to grow. Forgiveness, whether of yourself or others, is not weakness, it is freedom. It is cutting the chain that ties you to moments you cannot change. Think about it this way. You cannot fill a jar with fresh water if it is still filled with mud. You cannot receive abundance if your hands are still clenching old pain. You cannot build wealth, success, or peace while your attention is locked in memories of scarcity or betrayal. To rise, you must empty the jar. To move forward, you must release the grip. Releasing the past doesn't mean forgetting. It means extracting the lesson and discarding the weight. Failure teaches discipline. Betrayal teaches discernment. Loss teaches gratitude. Once you have learned, you no longer need to carry the pain. The lesson is the treasure. The suffering is optional. Here's a practice each morning. Declare, I forgive myself. I release the past. I am free to begin again. Say it out loud. Feel the words. Imagine yourself setting down a heavy bag and walking away lighter. Your subconscious will absorb that freedom and begin to direct your energy toward creation instead of regret. This is also vital for wealth and success. Many people sabotage their financial journey because they are haunted by past mistakes, bad investments, poor choices, missed chances. They relive those losses every day, which creates fear of taking action now. But wealth only comes to those who move forward with boldness, not those who freeze in the shadow of yesterday. Resilience means using the past as a teacher, not a prison. The strongest people are not those who never fall. They are those who fall. Learn and rise without carrying unnecessary weight. Every sunrise is proof that you have been given another chance to create. Why waste it replaying old stories? Here's your affirmation. I am free from yesterday. I carry only wisdom, not regret. I create space for new beginnings and greater success. Remember this, you cannot drive into your future while staring only in the rearview mirror. The windshield is larger for a reason. The universe is not interested in your excuses about the past. It is responding to your focus right now. Release the old chapter. Turn the page and write something extraordinary with today. Expectation is one of the most powerful forces in human life. What you expect consistently, you invite into existence. If you expect failure, your mind will prepare for it, and your actions will align with it. If you expect success, your mind will prepare for victory, and your actions will naturally push you toward it. That's why Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Belief is expectation in action. Hope is not weakness, it is strategy. It is not passive, it is power. To expect good things every morning is to program your subconscious with the belief that opportunity is on its way, that solutions exist, that abundance is flowing. And when your subconscious accepts that, it begins to filter the world for proof. Suddenly, you notice ideas you would have missed, people you would have ignored, chances you would have overlooked. But most people live with the wrong expectation. They wake up expecting problems, expecting delays, expecting life to work against them. In life oblige, their expectation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's why guarding your morning expectation is critical. The first word you tell yourself each day must be, good things are coming my way. Think about wealthy people. They don't wake up expecting to lose. They expect deals to close, investments to grow, opportunities to multiply, and even when they face setbacks, they expect comebacks. That mindset keeps them moving forward, while others freeze in fear. The same is true for health, relationships, and personal growth. Expectation sets the tone. Hope is the fuel that keeps persistence alive. Without it, discipline feels like punishment. With it, discipline feels like preparation for something greater. When you expect good things, you can endure challenges because you know they are temporary. You can push through setbacks because you believe success is still ahead. Expectation must be paired with action. Saying, "I expect wealth," while sitting idle is delusion. But saying, "I expect wealth," while taking bold steps, while building that expectation becomes magnetic. The universe responds to the signal of belief backed by effort. Here's a practice each morning. Visualize one good thing that could happen today. It could be a breakthrough idea, a new connection, an unexpected opportunity. Picture it, feel it, and then say, "I expect good things to happen for me today." This is not blind optimism. It is training your mind to seek the positive, the possible, the powerful. Here's your affirmation. I expect success. I expect abundance. I expect breakthroughs. My hope is stronger than fear, and my expectation shapes my reality. Remember, expectation is not a wish. It is a command to your subconscious. It is telling your mind, look for reasons to win. Look for signs of growth. Look for doors that open. And the more you expect it, the more your actions, your energy, and your focus align to make it real. So do not wake up expecting problems. Wake up expecting solutions. Do not wake up expecting scarcity. Wake up expecting wealth. Do not wake up expecting setbacks. Wake up expecting comebacks. Because what you expect with faith and reinforce with action, the universe cannot deny every morning. One question decides the direction of your day. Will I act on my feelings, or will I act on my discipline? Most people lose this battle before their feet even touch the ground. They check their mood, and if they don't feel like it, they delay. They wait for motivation, for inspiration, for the perfect moment. And as they wait, their dreams grow colder. Their momentum fades, and their potential is buried under hesitation. But greatness is never built on feelings. Feelings are temporary. They rise and fall like the weather sunshine one moment, storms the next. If you build your future on feelings, you build it on sand. Discipline, on the other hand, is rock. It is steady, unshakable, and unchanging. Discipline is the choice to act according to your vision, not your mood. Napoleon Hill taught that consistency is the bridge between desire and success. You may have the strongest vision in the world, but without consistent, disciplined action, it remains only a dream. Wealth, growth, abundance, these do not come to the wishful. They come to the consistent. They come to the man or woman who shows up every day, no matter how they feel, and executes with precision. Think about the athlete who trains not only when inspired, but also when tired, sore, or unmotivated. Think about the entrepreneur who builds their business, not just when sales are high, but also when setbacks strike. These people understand a simple law: discipline compounds. Each small act, repeated daily, multiplies into results so powerful that talent and luck cannot compete. Feelings whisper excuses. Rest more. Do it later. You've done enough. Discipline speaks truth. You made a commitment. Follow through. One more step, one more repeat, one more move. And each time you choose discipline over feeling, you reinforce an identity. I am consistent. I am reliable. I am unstoppable. The secret is, this discipline is not about doing everything at once. It is about doing the right thing repeatedly. Success is not created in a single leap. It is stacked brick by brick. One disciplined morning leads to a disciplined week. A disciplined week compounds into a disciplined year. And a disciplined year shapes a legacy. Here's your morning reminder. Motivation is optional, but discipline is mandatory. You don't need to feel powerful to act powerfully. You don't need to feel inspired to take the first step. The action itself creates the feeling. The discipline itself creates the motivation. So each morning, tell yourself, I honor my commitments, not my emotions. I live by discipline, not by mood. My consistency creates greatness. Say it until your mind believes it, until your body obeys it, until your results prove it. Because at the end of your life, you will not be remembered for what you felt. You will be remembered for what you built. And what you build depends on how consistent you were in honoring your vision when nobody was watching. Every morning, the first voice you hear is your own. And now you carry with you 14 powerful declarations, 14 mental commands that can rewire your reality, sharpen your discipline, and magnetize abundance into your life. But remember, this knowledge without application is wasted. These affirmations only transform you when you speak them, repeat them, and live them. Your mornings are the foundation of your destiny. Guard them, command them, dominate them. Tell yourself daily, I am focused, I am powerful, I am unstoppable. My life bends to the strength of my discipline and the clarity of my vision. This is not just about motivation, it's about transformation. Not tomorrow, not someday. It begins now with the thoughts you choose, the words you declare, and the actions you take. So take these 14 truths and make them your code of living. Speak them with fire. Live them with conviction. And watch how your mornings stop being routine and start becoming the launch pad of your greatness. Because when you master your mornings, you master your life. If this message resonated with you, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit the like button to spread the energy. Subscribe to Think Rich Mindset Hub for more timeless Napoleon Hill inspired wisdom. And in the comments below, tell us, which of these 14 truths will you start declaring every morning? Remember, success is not built on luck, it's built on focus, disciplina, and consistency. Let's rise together.